All right, I will start sharing my presentation as well, if that is okay.
Yeah.
So why don't we start with
Great.
that?
So good afternoon, everybody. Today was actually the day that we were supposed to be live in Helsinki for Nordic Revenue Forum 2020. So this is a very special day for me. We had a 3-day event for this year, and obviously you know that this has now been moved online. And today is Ortensia Anghel.
Very close.
And,
It's very
and
good,
she's
Hannah. Thank you.
from IDeaS, and she's been actually in the live events we've had before. She's had a really great reviews. So I'm really pleased to welcome Ortensia back with us. So with this, I'll leave the stage for you.
Thank you very much, Hannah, and thank you for the introduction. And good afternoon to all of you, and thank you again for joining us today to this revenue session of the Nordic Revenue Forum. I am back. I am excited to be back, and I'd like today to share and discuss with you a plan of rebuilding 2021 and beyond that. For those of you who don't know me or know of me, my name is Ortensia Anghel, and I will be your host for the next 20 minutes or so, or as far as Hannah is allowing me to chat with you. As I said, for those of you who do not know me, I am the account manager for the Nordic countries at IDeaS. In my career, I have held previous positions within the hospitality industry. With IDeaS, I have been now for nearly 5 years, which is quite a bit of time, you know, and especially when you're having fun, times goes by very fast. As I was saying at the beginning and in the title of the presentation, I'll try alongside you to build a sustainable, effective and profitable future for 2021 and beyond, and help you achieve those goals. As I'm not going to really rehash the tragedy of the pandemic over the hospitality industry, but rather I'd like to focus on some solutions and some few changes, challenges, and measures to kind of help the industry get through those hardships and still remain profitable. At the end, there will be some questions, and of course, I welcome any engagement, any feedback, any questions from you as well. So feel free to add them in a chat box or in any other environments that Hannah has made available for you. So with no further ado, let's start. How can we do more with less in 2021 and beyond? And to this question, first thing that comes to mind is consolidating. Let's consolidate efforts, let's consolidate skills, let's consolidate positions within the hospitality industry. Consolidation is going to be the focus for hotels, and if you're looking at those distressed roles that we have at the moment, such as your sales, marketing, revenue, and traditional operational roles. We are going to focus in 2021 of doing more with less. So within this in mind, hotels are combining their traditional standalone revenue management roles like sales, marketing, revenue into more commercial consolidated roles. And of course, that with this transition and with basically cutting people off, the expectation is still to do more. You still need to do more sales, you still need to do more campaigns, more revenue, and of course generating more profit. The downside of this though is that you will have less resources, less people, less budget, less costs to achieve the same results. So In 2021 and for the future of the revenue of hotels, we need to challenge the status quo. And we know that comes March 2020, and we had our marketing teams who were in charge of generating campaigns, looking to promote our presence online, offline, on banners, anything on social, anything like that. Then, of course, we had our sales team in charge of making sure that those campaigns are profitable, making sure that those campaigns have visibility and they reach the client, making sure that they sell your inventory, making sure that they're out there creating contracts, signing deals, and getting the revenue through the door. And of course, the mighty revenue manager who was there to kind of balance the demand versus the resources and the inventory, making sure that the good old right client at the right time, for the right price, at the right moment, through the right channel was there. So this was the status quo in 2020 and before that. And whether we're looking at one hotel or several hotels, the situation wouldn't have been any different. But now March 2020 happens, the world goes into lockdown. We're no longer able to travel. We're no longer able to move between countries. International travel is coming to a halt, to a standstill. But the hospitality industry and hotels still have to manage, still have to survive, still have to provide that bit of hospitality as they did before. And what has started to happen from this point onwards, we have started consolidating those roles. So now, instead of having 3 departments with interconnecting roles, now we have one person in charge of everything. And again, whether we're looking at one property or several properties, the same person is in charge of everything. So it's, as we call it, a one-man band. Now, with this new structure, of course, more responsibilities is also attracting more challenges. And with those more challenges, of course, we'll still have to, at the end of the day, still have to do the exact same operations. We still have to generate revenues and make sure that our visibility is there, that we're selling inventory, that we're generating demand, that we're still pricing the right products and for the right time at the right moment. But how do you keep competitive through all the challenges that are out there? Now, one person needs to focus on multiple properties, perhaps, and multiple time zones, have access to technology 24 hours a day, tackle different uncertainty in different markets across portfolio, also looking at competitors and what they're doing and their strategy as well. Is their competitor strategy going to affect anything that happens for my own hotel? So and then when you take your online and offline into account and look at what is going on in there, all these tasks and all these challenges are becoming kind of a mammoth task to perform on a daily basis by that one person that now has the skills consolidating within and has the duties of still generating the same sales, same revenue, generating the same demand, but now with much less resource. So one solution that comes to mind, and that's kind of the go-to solution in the first place, how can we do the same workload, if not even more, with less resources? So one thing that comes to mind is technology. Technology has never been more important for a hotelier than it is today. Many of you might think, but hang on a minute, why do we need technology when we have no business on the books? Why do we need technology when there is no demand that we need to manage? Well, to that question, you'd be definitely entitled to ask, but to that question, I will also answer that even in situations like COVID pandemic, distress situations like this, hoteliers will still have to perform the same duties, will still have to forecast, will still have to price and manage their inventory. And these tasks are no longer a simple task. Your traditional revenue manager or your traditional general manager or director who used to come in and say, oh, I understand very well my market. I know what my competitors are doing. I know where the business is coming from. I can forecast myself. I can price this because last year we did this, and this. Those stories are no longer relevant. They are no longer reliable because the history, what we knew up until March 2020, what we knew is no longer a point of reference. Hotel booking history now is volatile, is irrelevant. It doesn't make sense anymore, and we cannot just rely on that to make present and future decisions. The booking trends are constantly fluctuating. The market is very volatile. The consumer behavior, customer behavior is changing and is ever changing and ever and more volatile than ever. The revenue manager, the traditional revenue manager, is no longer able to recognize small changes in the patterns, in booking patterns, in demand patterns. So it's very hard now to identify opportunities, and is very, very likely and risky that you will fall behind and you will miss out on the opportunities, those very rare opportunities that are out there. It's very hard to react in a non-automated environment to any changes, and you could miss out on profit and on opportunity to grow and drive profit. And manual data collection and evaluation it was already an old thing, and it was already a non-profitable and non-effective way to work even before the pandemic, but even more so now after the pandemic. So the answer to all at the moment that comes to mind is hoteliers need technology. The hoteliers need technology so that the technology steps in and that the technology is actually doing the work of 3, 4, 5 departments on their behalf, making sure that is always there to forecast, to price, to control, and to manage inventory, making sure that it's quick to react to change in the market and shifts in any demand or booking patterns. But alongside that, let's see in theory, what would the revenue management system do? So first of all, if you are thinking of the revenue management system and of technology, we need to understand that through a series of specialized and relatively complicated algorithms and calculations, in a revenue management system will automatically assess a hotel performance and market demand and deploy the right pricing decisions across all channels of distribution. So that is something that already is taken off the plate of now the consolidated role of the commercial strategies. Now, when we combine those kind of capabilities with highly visual user dashboards, the RMS will enable the team members to quickly understand current and future market demand. So by looking at the data, we understand what is the market doing. We don't need to act on it as it is, as the revenue management system will do that for you. But at least we understand where we are, and we can then use that information and strategize. for short-term and long-term business decisions. Now, we all know that demand is influenced by price, and price is influenced by demand. So an advanced revenue management system not only generates prices that adapt to market changes, but it will also consider the competitive landscape and the guests' willingness to pay. Now, what has happened at the beginning of pandemic, when people and hoteliers and revenue managers wouldn't understand why the sudden drop in demand, hoteliers started to drop the rates, thinking that by doing that, by practicing this so-called strategy, they will be able to drive more demand. However, in this kind of situation, and as a result of this kind of practices, hoteliers were kind of putting themselves at risks, because there wasn't a clear understanding of why the demand wasn't there anymore, and the actual common practice of, okay, we don't have the demand, let's drop the prices and generate demand, when effectively price had nothing to do with the demand at that point. As demand wasn't there because people weren't traveling because of restrictions, and not necessarily because there weren't a will to travel and a will to actually stay at hotels. So we've seen that in this kind of crisis, with this trend of overreacting, as I call it, we started something which we always kind of used to call, when I was working in hotels, the race to the bottom. Once you start dropping the price, it's very, very hard to come back up there and justify overnight why your prices are back up. So the revenue management system and the technology is there to support you, is there to offer you the platform to actually understand all of these external factors that are influencing demand, and is there to support your strategy decisions as well. And now, as we've seen at the beginning of the presentation, we don't have the luxury anymore, or hoteliers don't have the luxury anymore of having so many skilled and so many specialized team members to be able to provide all kind of KPIs and provide all kind of reports based on demand, based on pricing, based on sales. But rather than that, they have one person who is still in charge of everything. Therefore, automation and technology is there to support this commercial new build commercial role in their daily life. Now we've seen that we have the consolidation, we have the technology and automation, but what's next to this is actually the collaboration and making sure that that teams are aligned, that departments work together towards better financial performance, that we start looking holistically at demand and revenue generation, that we use the data from all departments to optimize revenue streams, and that we're not only focusing on revenue demand on rooms revenue, but we're also looking at other streams of revenue. And yes, some hotels and some hoteliers have the luxury of managing and of running beautiful properties that not only offer rooms, but also if they have F&B outlets, or they might have a golf course, or they might have a spa, or they have meetings and events facilities. So when we're looking now in this period of crisis, and especially after this crisis is passing and we're starting the recovery and we're starting rebuilding the future, we need to also look at what else can we manage and what else can we revenue manage from our properties to make sure that we are still having a steady cash flow, a steady profitable revenue stream into the business. So to start summing up today's presentation, we've seen and we've known for many years that the revenue manager's role is changing. It's been a complete and continuous change for many years now, and is moving slowly towards a more commercial strategy role. And if we have learned anything from this pandemic, is that the revenue manager needs to become more agile, needs to become more flexible, needs to become more empowered as well, and needs to be able to leverage new technologies and leverage new kind of like new aces up their sleeve to be able to stay competitive. And one way of looking at this shift in the revenue manager's role is by stop focusing on the tactical inputs and outputs of the role, and just become a little bit forward-looking and strategist. Start looking at the advanced profit strategy and develop all these strategies as well. And kind of start developing a collaboration between departments that has the client at the center of their commercial plans. As I was saying, and I'm emphasizing now once again, the commercial strategist, or what we call the old revenue manager, needs to become expert in technologies and leverage this technology and expand their revenue management function and revenue management role that they're leading. We were talking about looking at other commercial areas as well, and kind of embedding those ethoses within the strategies, such as sales and marketing, loyalty plans, and loyalty programs as well. And of course, look at different revenue streams within the whole property, not just rooms revenue. Now, I think I will be running out of time very, very soon. And I just wanted to kind of ask you this thought-provoking question, which I have come across in a recent panel with Cyber High Tech. And this question sounds like this: is data scientist the next hot position in hotels and hospitality? I would love to have some interaction from the audience today and see what they think about this. Is data scientist the next thing, the next big thing in hospitality? And is this something that future hoteliers, or the hoteliers of tomorrow, the hoteliers of 2021 and beyond, will have to start looking into before hiring new people, before expanding, before thinking of their future strategies? And with that in mind, I can only say thank you very much for being here today. I will thank Hannah again for inviting me back to the Nordic Revenue Forum. It is always a great pleasure to be part of the event and to speak to all of you. And yes, I welcome any questions, any feedback, or anything from your side that you'd like to discuss with me, or that I can take back to IDeaS and ask the questions if I don't know the answer myself. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Ortensia. We have some good time here for any questions that you might have from the presentation, or just some ideas you would like to bounce with Ortensia and her knowledge of other markets as well. We can certainly see in Finland, especially in Helsinki, that the rate for the city has been dropping. compared to last year, but also I think compared to the previous months here. So there's a desperate need for demand, and the competition is getting much harder.
To be honest with you, Hannah, this is something that we see across Europe, across the world, if you want. I'm still yet to find somebody who's come to me and said, actually, Ortensia, we're doing better than we did in 2019 with better RevPAR and better ADR. But unfortunately, it is a new world. It is a new kind of situation that we are facing, and I can only stay positive, and I can only think that, you know, this is just temporary. And the lack of demand and the lack of interest, and the lack of demand is not due to lack of interest in traveling, but to restrictions imposed by different governments and different organizations, world organizations. I stay firm and I stay positive, thinking that yes, the hotel industry probably is going through the toughest time yet seen, but I can only stay positive that this is not going to last forever. And my unofficial, and please do not hold me to this, but unofficial prediction is that probably by the end of Q1 next year, we will start seeing drastic improvements. The only thing that we have to remember is that hoteliers must be ready to react to when the time comes, so that they don't miss out on any shifts or on any progress or on any kind of opportunities that are out there.
That's great. Thank you so much for this, Ortensia. Now,
thank you.
It's so